Did video kill the radio star?
No, YouTube did. Let's
mix it up.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to Mixtape Generation. I'm Chance.
I am Adam.
We love our fans, our subscribers, our friends, and they've given us...
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, finish.
They've given us a recommendation, and we are going to gut it out and try out their suggestion. Thank you.
Yes, we'll get to that. But you know what else we love? Our MTV. Because I want my MTV. Do you want your MTV?
I loved it.
America! Demand your MTV! I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV! Call your cable company and say, I want my MTV!
Turn it on, leave it on. America, see the music you want to see.
I want my MTV. All right.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
24 hours a day on cable TV.
I want my MTV, MTV, MTV!
Yeah, too much is never enough.
MTV was the 80s. It was a big part of the 80s. And as we were thinking about MTV, this is an episode that we've kind of talked through back and forth for quite a while now. And, you know, when you think of the 80s, you do think of MTV, the era, MTV era. And so, and then now MTV is just like, it's gone.
Yeah.
MTV as we knew it has been gone for a long time.
That's true.
And so this episode, we've decided to title The Rise and Fall of MTV. So we're going to talk through that. We've got, I'm going to pull up some thoughts that we've thrown together.
And while we're doing this, we're going to talk a little bit about what we did before MTV.
Yeah, because prior to 1981, which was when MTV came about, we didn't have MTV. In fact, what did we have?
Solid Gold.
Solid Gold. American Bandstand.
Thank you.
Solid Gold Dancers.
Thank you.
And we had our radios.
AM
radio.
FM.
Radio Gaga. All we hear is Radio Gaga. No.
Great song.
We got to that point. But yeah, we'd listen to the radio. In fact, I was just listening the other day to the radio, which I do a lot because I'm old and we still listen to the radio. But they were playing Casey Kasem, America's Top 40. A rerun, of course, because he's no longer with us. But I was like, how cool. It just brought back so many memories of, you know, Sunday night here in Utah on, it was Rock 103, I think back then. They had 10 p.m. and I would make sure I was in my room at 10 p.m. with my radio on. Dr. Demento. No, I think even before that was the classic rock albums. They'd like review a classic, the story behind it. Mm-hmm. And then maybe 10 or 11 p.m., the Dr. Demento show. And I lived for the Dr. Demento show. In fact, when you think of Dr. Demento, who's the big artist that comes to your mind? Who came out of the Dr. Demento show playing his accordion, singing in the bathroom? Another one rides the bus.
Weird Al
Yankovic. And then Weird Al became kind of one of the many faces of the 80s, the MTV era. Mm-hmm. So before we dig any deeper into this episode, we're going to dig ourselves a grave. Speaking of Weird Al Yankovic, let's just put this down because we'll get back to that. But our good friend and subscriber and fan of the show, Butch, has commented twice now on episodes, partly because we brought it up, but he challenged us. There's a name for it. Let me
I
remind
have
us.
a name for it in a minute.
Heartburn,
Yes.
death.
Yes.
Oh
Oh.
boy. Would you want to start preparing this while I look this up?
Yes. Here is your greasy napkin. Here's mine. Here is
He's yelling at it's called the Twinkie Wiener sandwich. This is from the Weird Al movie.
hard to find these. They're
Yeah.
not everywhere. They're not like all over the place. You got to go to a.
The Weird Al movie UHF. Apparently, it's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember this. But Weird Al eats a Twinkie Wiener sandwich. So we've got our bun, which is a beautiful Twinkie.
We're destroying a Twinkie.
We've got the filling. We've got to probably cut through this a little bit. We're going to take the wiener. This is so wrong. This isn't working. Butch, what are we doing wrong here? Okay, it's destroying. Maybe that's it. Just cut it in half, huh?
Yeah.
Make a sandwich. You're right. I shouldn't have just tried putting it in. I should have made a sandwich.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Glad I recently had my colonoscopy.
I won't need one after this. I'll be dead.
Okay.
All right, now this isn't it. You might just think it's
Whoa.
a Twinkie and a wiener.
And there's more.
And there's more. For only $19.99. You can have.
It was not that expensive. Oh.
Canned cheese. Canned cheese.
Oh, we got to find all the movies with canned cheese in them.
My friend Mark, who is probably watching this, Mark Keel. I shouldn't say last names, should I? Like anybody cares.
Edit that.
Yeah. Mark K. We'll say Mark K. He and I have some good canned cheese stories. All right. A liberal amount. I will set the standard here. Come on.
Oh. Oh no.
I'm too old for this. I'm going to be feeling this tonight. I'm feeling it already. It looks beautiful.
Okay, we gotta partake at the same time.
All right, here we go.
out.
The Twinkie Wiener sandwich. Thank you, Butch. Thank you, Weird Al.
Why are we thanking them?
We should be cursing them right now. Maybe it's really good. 1, 2, 3.
I can't even taste the cheese.
The hot dog and the Twinkie is so bad together. It's like a grainy bun instead of a soft pillow of a bun. Why am I going back for another bite?
Wow. Wow.
The hot dog's delicious. I can't wait to see what John has to say about this. He's going to be so glad he's not here with us right now.
I bet he's already tried this.
John has eaten some weird things in his life. I don't know if this is one of them, but we do have to finish it. Butch, it's not good. I just had the cheese by itself. That was yummy. Wish we had some crackers.
Plenty of cheese left.
I'm not doing the rest of that Twinkie. Okay. All right. Well, how can we carry on an episode after that? All right. So
We gotta find that movie clip.
we'll find it. If I can find it, I'll show it right now. If I can't, I won't. So before MTV, the radio. That led us to Weird Al through Dr. Demento. Did you ever listen to Dr. Demento?
I don't remember.
He played all the weird stuff, fish heads, and a lot of weird stuff. He was great. All right. But then along comes August 1st, which we just passed recently, 1981. So that would be the 45th anniversary of MTV.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 45 years ago, MTV launched. We've had discussions in the previous episodes about launch day of MTV. I was watching live. I think you said you were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you got to. I remember the shot of all the VJs kind of sitting around, and welcome to MTV, and they kind of explained what MTV was and want to be in your homes and show video. It's just so cool. But there was Martha Quinn,
Nina Blackwood,
Alan Hunter, J.J. Jackson,
Mark Goodman.
The original VJs. My favorite, and I think most people's favorite, was Martha Quinn. Everybody loved Martha Quinn because she was so knowledgeable, but she just seemed so cool. Nina Blackwood was like the scary rocker chick. They were all really cool. And then the first video that ever played, Video Killed the Radio Star, the Buggles. Now, wasn't that kind of...
Ironic.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic? Why didn't Atlantis put that line in? It's like the Buggles playing the first video on MTV. Yeah, Video Killed the Radio Star. Video, I don't know if it killed the radio star, but it changed the radio star, which really kind of leads into the next phase of MTV.
Yeah, because you didn't really know what they looked like. All you did was hear them on the radio. So you didn't know much about how many people were in the band sometimes. I mean, musicians could figure it out, but...
Well, and the only way you would really know how they looked is if you had the album.
Yeah.
And some albums,
that's
they didn't
true.
even show photos of themselves.
That's true.
Some did,
Or the
some
cassette
didn't.
tape. Right.
Or the
you
cassette
fold
tape.
it out and...
Look for a picture of the band.
Yeah. Or if you watch the music award shows, you could see them on TV.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's really you didn't really have a way to get to know them as an individual.
No. And that's what MTV was so influential. One of the many reasons it was so influential is because now you could see your artists and the artists, and it was important. Like the looks mattered. So you had, Cyndi Lauper before MTV. What do you think she looked like? I don't know. We don't know, but maybe she was just some regular old singer in New York somewhere, or Madonna just being a dancer, and all of a sudden here's MTV, so she puts on this big persona. And we knew what Michael Jackson looked like because they were so popular. You'd see them on like Dick Clark or the different talk shows
AMA.
of the day. Johnny Carson, things like that. But here's one on here, Duran Duran.
No idea.
They were the look of MTV, though.
When
you think MTV,
yeah,
because
But
they
you
were
didn't know
so
what they
good
looked like
looking,
before,
like
but
these
yeah.
dudes that just looked good. They dressed well.
Yeah.
That image made Duran Duran, and the music was great. With or without the videos, I think they would have been just fantastic artists.
Mm-hmm.
But you took great music, and then put this imagery of these really good looking guys behind it. You got Van Halen, who wore the spandex and the, just crazy. But that's the image. The image was so important. And the videos, every artist wanted to have a good music video. Now, not all, as we've discovered,
Right.
what maybe we thought was good 40 years ago, now we look back and go, oh, okay, it didn't age well. But at the time, even all the videos we quote unquote make fun of, not that we're making fun of them, but all of them were really good videos at their time. Think even Total Eclipse of the Heart. That was, I'm sure, a great video of its day. So, yeah, the image was everything. The hair. You go from 70s rocker hair, which looked like just greasy, flat hair, to now mid 80s big hair. We'll throw some images up on the screen. Maybe a compare and contrast
Big hair bands.
Even like artists like Ozzy, you see Ozzy in the 70s with Black Sabbath, just his hair straight. You see him on what's the Lita Ford song, If I Close My Eyes Forever? He's got his hair all 80s big hair. So yeah, the hair was important. The outfits were important. Fashion became, you remember
That's
junior high?
Good point.
All the girls wanted to dress like Madonna.
Yeah.
And all the little bracelets.
And
Jelly.
And the necklaces. And
Yeah. And it was all MTV that did that.
that's a good point.
Without MTV, you just listen to it and you just wear your leather jacket or your Levi jacket and you're done. So yeah, MTV through those 80s, it was all about the look. And here's a question. Was MTV selling music or were they selling personalities?
We already had the music
Yeah.
on the radio, but I wonder if it helped the musicians sell more albums thanks to MTV.
Guaranteed. But it also could have hurt some artists too who weren't good looking.
Yeah, if you don't like them. If the production value was low on the music video.
Yeah. But look at this list of these artists. Michael Jackson, Madonna, Duran Duran, Van Halen, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Aha, Guns N' Roses. You can picture every single one of a music video from each one of those artists that was influential. And you think someone like Madonna, whose her music videos have influenced current artists' music videos, and her style influenced, like Lady Gaga, was influenced by Madonna. So it all came from the 80s.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure you could look back and go a few generations back and they were influenced by other people, but the music video really changed it. Now, we could talk about the golden years of MTV. You remember some of the shows they had on MTV back in the day? I remember Headbangers Ball because I was into the rock. You weren't into the rock music as much.
Not quite, yeah.
I would watch Headbangers Ball occasionally. Some of it got really heavy, and I wasn't into the really heavy stuff, but I did enjoy Headbangers Ball. I did not watch Yo MTV Raps.
I did not either.
But occasionally when I would watch, I'd hope that it would be a Beastie Boys video or a Run DMC video.
Yeah.
Speaking of Run DMC, I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. We were talking about Adidas. And a friend of mine, his wife works for Adidas. And we were just commenting about how at their Adidas annual conference that they have, Run DMC is always like a part of that conference. And I was thinking, yeah, Adidas owes majority of their success
that's a good point.
to Run DMC.
That's a good point.
Because prior to Run DMC, nobody cared about Adidas. It was Nike.
It's true.
And then Run DMC comes out with their My Adidas song and all their big hits of the 80s, wearing their Adidas, pushing Adidas. There's a whole other influential thing of music videos is selling product.
That's true. Fashion.
MTV Unplugged, huge.
That was great. That was really good.
Oh, you got to see artists in a way you'd never seen them. I remember the Nirvana Unplugged. And I thought that was and I wasn't even a Nirvana fan.
Probably the most popular one.
Yeah, the Eric Clapton one. Mm-hmm. So many influential artists and episodes of MTV Unplugged. You had 120 Minutes. You had Club MTV, Dial MTV. What was the one with, what's his name? Carson Daly.
Oh, I can't remember.
If you're watching, you put it in the comments. There was the show with Carson Daly, and that was into the 90s, right? When Carson came around. Again, one of those artists or those VJs that were very influential. And now he's on the Today Show or something. You had Downtown Julie Brown. She bothered me. Sorry. She was kind of annoying. I'm sure she's awesome. Kennedy, I really didn't like Kennedy. That was a 90s VJ. Adam Curry, rocker guy. Yeah, Adam Curry, longer hair, rocker guy. I didn't know Tabitha Soren, and then Carson Daly, of course, later in the 90s. But again, the VJs were all part of the story. I remember watching Live Aid. And at Live Aid, the MTV VJs, I believe they were there because MTV was the one broadcasting Live Aid.
That's true.
So the VJs were a big part of the production. Who would think a VJ, was that big of a deal? But they were a big deal. And Martha Quinn still has a radio show now that you can listen to daily. So, did you have a favorite VJ? Did you have a favorite VJ?
I didn't really know. I wasn't really watching it for the VJs.
No, it's for the music.
I was just trying to get the music. So
yeah,
I didn't really.
So what happened to MTV? What changed?
What changed?
I have an opinion of what changed. And it was The Real World. The TV show The Real World.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was like the first real, what do they call them?
Reality TV.
Reality TV. And then that just opened the door to all the, what was the one where the cribs, we'd show their houses, which was kind of cool, but it was based off of, what was the dude back in the 80s that, Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. MTV Cribs was basically a ripoff of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
That's true.
But you had The Real World. Jackass came from MTV.
Oh, I didn't know
I'd
that.
forgotten that.
Yeah.
Punked with Ashton Kutcher. So it became all these reality TV shows. And videos just kind of became... Well, when we have nothing to show you reality-wise,
right,
we'll throw a music video in. And it became less and less. Yet, artists were still making music videos.
Right.
But they just weren't getting shown on MTV because we had social media starting to creep into our lives.
It's true.
Jersey Shore, that was another MTV. I never watched that.
I didn't either. But it's interesting that they didn't focus on what brought them so much success.
No. It's like they turned their back on it.
Yeah.
And granted, it worked, right?
Yeah.
It worked for another 2 or 3 decades. But for those of us who knew what MTV was, if you grew up in the 90s and the 2000s and never experienced the 80s MTV, that was MTV for you. It was reality TV, right?
Right.
The M didn't mean music anymore. It was just, who knows what it meant.
Just a logo.
Just a logo. But for those of us who grew up with it, music TV was what we expected. And so the question is, were they making a mistake or just adapting to the time?
I just don't know why they couldn't do both. Why they were so focused on the reality TV show. Why didn't they just pull back on that and just get into the artistry, get into the music a lot more?
Well, that's what VH1 became.
Oh.
If you remember VH1 launching, because they were doing all these reality shows on MTV, and maybe they were getting backlash. Who knows?
I don't know.
But they launched VH1, which became where you'd go to VH1 to watch the music videos. You'd go to MTV for the reality shows. But we talk about video killing the radio star. Did the internet kill MTV?
A lot of TV shows, a lot of shows have adapted so that the internet helps them.
They've had to.
Yeah.
But I think also a lot of, this will be a whole other episode someday, is just 80s television into 90s television into now we don't have television.
That's a good point.
Everything is streamed through a service.
Yeah. They should have, looking back, maybe partnered with a YouTube or with an iTunes so they could still have their brand and have a VJ and find a partner so they could still get out there.
Well, and you think of the formats that came through the internet. Number one being Napster, if you remember Napster.
Oh, yeah.
If you're watching, you remember Napster. Yeah. And I remember Metallica, Lars Ulrich from Metallica being all anti-Napster, and he was like fighting it, and that was all on MTV News. Yeah. With Kurt Loder when he used to do the MTV News. But Napster and being able to download music illegally, which then led to eventually Spotify and Apple Music, but it was Napster that started all that. But it was just a different it was an easy way to get music, to get access to music. You could create playlists. You could download what you wanted to hear. and visually you weren't getting the visual aspect of it anymore. But I guess as listeners, we didn't care because we were tired of paying 10 or 12 bucks for a CD.
It's true.
All of music became free because it was illegal. And then YouTube comes along, and then we can start seeing music videos there. So why do we need to go to MTV to watch a music video if we could just watch it on YouTube
yeah.
I mean, because the whole thing of MTV was the anticipation.
Right.
Like, when are they going to play Thriller, or when are they going to play Hungry Like the Wolf? You had to wait and hope that they played it, and you had to get through all the crappy videos that you didn't want to see to wait for that one. And now the internet comes along, and I don't have to sit there and wait for my video. Just like I don't have to sit through commercials to watch a TV sitcom.
You're right.
So internet did kill it, but it really adapted and changed it. It didn't really kill it. I mean, it did, because there's no more MTV.
Hey, John, what do you think? What do you think happened, or why? Is it a good thing there's no more MTV, or what's your take?
Yeah, take it away, John.
Evers and Omissions with John. Evers and Omissions with John.
Hey guys, what a stimulating discussion. I mean, this is probably the longest video you guys have done because the content is so good. This is really important for us in Gen X, is what happened to MTV, because I think it has a lot of repercussions for a lot of part of our lives, as why things are changed today, and why sometimes us old folks yelling at clouds sort of think that society has slipped sideways. I think MTV and the loss of MTV is kind of indicative. It's inevitable. Things are going to change, but great discussion. Before we get to that, Chance, I think you're trying to get me to have a Twinkie with a weenie with fake cheese. Ain't going to do it. But I will tell you, Adam remembers this, that our grandfather, Grandpa Ringer, used to have an eclair, little eclair desserty thing, and he'd put a weenie in that, and he'd eat that, and that sounded great. So I'm not sure we have eclairs over here in Korea. Maybe we do. I don't know. We'll find out. And if we'll give it a try. Dr. Demento, by the way, every Sunday night on our local rock station, 103.1. And it was from 10 to midnight. I remember getting up the next day for school. That was rough because I remember all of our friends had been up till midnight listening to Dr. Demento. Great show. Hey, I could go on for a long time about just echoing what you guys said. I think here's the problem. MTV could not compete with content distribution. That as music and culture, movies, as attitudes started to go into little individual buckets, that there's no way that MTV could compete with that. So, when we grew up, it was pop, rock, funk, soul, R&B, country, and rap was coming online. It was pretty much it. Everything was kind of in its little bucket. And so it was nothing to watch a Madonna video, and then a Van Halen video, and then the Bangles, and then maybe even Motorhead, and nobody batted an eye. It was like, okay, the differences were all just kind of mediated at a very central pace. The gatekeepers and the record companies made sure that we weren't going off too far off track. Well, by the time you had the ability for home studios, and grunge had come along and blown things up, there's nothing you could have done at that point. So when you started going down really unique and discrete paths, such as nu metal, heavy metal, emo, screamo, everything had its own little niche, and everybody had their own little tastes, that it became difficult for MTV to compete. You couldn't go from Marilyn Manson to Debbie Gibson without a lot of cultural whiplash. So they just couldn't sustain it anymore. And then on the flip side of it is, you mentioned Tabitha Soren. I think that there was a well-meaning thought that they would turn MTV into an issues channel. So not only are we going to give you great music videos and have a different variety, I mean, let's take people who are Madonna fans and expose them to a little bit of rap, or expose them to some country music. You could, again, kind of go with different flavors. But I think at some point MTV said, no, we're going to kind of give you the idea of what you need to be thinking. So you had Rock the Vote, where it's not just we're going to sign up youth to get them registered to vote, or not youth necessarily, but young people, young adults, get them registered to vote. But we're going to kind of direct them towards certain candidates. The Real World, when they started getting into reality TV, Real World was kind of like, yeah, we're going to kind of give you some social issues to think about. And, that kind of cut against the vibe of what rock and pop music stood for, which is you could think any different way you wanted, but we're all going to get together to rock out and have a good time. So I think they lost a lot of fans that way. Although interestingly, as they went down that route, Kurt Loder is one of the biggest libertarians you'll ever find. He's a live and let live kind of guy. And I think Kurt Loder, if you read some or listen to some of his stuff today, he kind of looks back and rolls his eyes at the direction they were going. MTV really turned into the Bravo channel, which highlights the problem that MTV had. You had a few cable channels in the 80s, but it just kept growing and growing and growing. And cable companies, to attract customers, were bundling more and more junk to where you had 100 channels by the end of it. And so by the time streaming comes along, nobody wants to deal with that anymore. They want to curate their own things they want to watch. They don't want to flip through all these channels and try to find something to watch. They want to go out directly. They want to go on Amazon and say, I want to watch this, and I want to watch this. With Spotify, they can do this type of music and that type of music. They don't have to go to record stores. They don't have to deal with MTV and hope that their video comes along. It's just all that just kind of went away. And so this idea of all this content distribution from a few channels of information to multiple channels of information to multiple categories of music meant that everybody could kind of pick and choose what they wanted. That's not a great way to run a business. The final thing is the gatekeepers all went away. So you think about Taylor Swift. She charted her own course. She did her own thing to the point where, when she got hosed by the record company, she just went and re-recorded everything. And so to re-own her own music. So you've got artists that are just not playing the game anymore. And so when you have the distribution channel that's tied to the record companies, that's tied to the gatekeeping, you're just not going to survive. I think BTS would never have been put on MTV. The Koreans, we can't understand a word they say. But through TikTok and other social media, the BTS army grew, and they didn't need that function. So they could do it different ways. Finally, I think you're right, Adam. YouTube really killed it. I don't need to go on MTV and wade through videos. I can go and watch what I want. Vivo, the company that kind of markets all these professionally done videos by musicians, it's still running. Artists are still making videos. Not as interesting as they used to be. I think you guys are going to talk about the Cars here soon and some of the crazy videos they did. You just don't get that experimentation, but you do get to see your artist doing a lot of stuff. I'm watching the last 2-3 weeks or 6 weeks. I've been watching Rush and their concert. I don't have to wait for a concert film to come out or for MTV to put a concert clip out. Everybody every night in high def video, with the band encouraging it, is putting this stuff out through a content distribution network that nobody controls. And so there you go. That's where we are today. For us old dudes, it's a little bit unsettling. It would be nice to go back to stuff. As you noted, Adam, Gen Z and Gen Alpha are going to the analog ways of doing things. But come on, let's be real. I would love to get a record player and put it over here in the corner. It would be Bluetooth enabled. And then I could listen to old records. But I'm not going to go put a record on. I can go onto Spotify and just pull up a channel or pull up a playlist, and I'll get exactly what I want without having to deal with the record and dealing with really tracks on a record that were not very good. I get the good stuff. I can get the good stuff and curate it myself. So there you go. It's a different day and age. I get the nostalgia. MTV was great. This stuff here, I mean, I still have I see that logo and have fond memories. But you're right. Video killed the radio star. Internet killed the video star. Well, it didn't really. Internet pushed the video star or the musician into new ways of doing business. And maybe for that, we're doing better. All right. Go slam down a few more of those gross weenie Twinkie things and have a great day and keep mixing it up. Take care.
Interesting.
Wow. He's so insightful.
Interesting to hear.
He loves a hot dog with a Twinkie.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't? So, MTV, what's the legacy? How do we look back upon it? I look back upon it with a lot of great memories. I spent a lot of the 80s watching MTV, probably too much. But we got fashion, we got pop culture. I mean, 80s pop culture was because of MTV. Live Aid, MTV. I mean, we wouldn't have that visual of Live Aid without MTV being there to support it. Yeah, a lot of good things. The MTV Music Awards. I didn't like the movie awards. I never watched those.
I didn't either.
But the MTV Music Awards, that just became a big deal.
Yeah.
So the question, could MTV as we knew it then exist today?
I don't know.
I don't think it could. Sadly.
Everything's on demand.
Yeah, and we have short attention spans. We don't want to sit around and wait for something. We want it now.
Yeah.
And that's sad. Although culture is changing, where a lot of the Gen Zers now are turning into retro forms of entertainment. You know, a lot of kids want to go back to flip phones or no phones.
Yeah.
A lot of kids want to, go out and ride the bikes instead of sitting home playing video games. Like they for a long time they looked at our generation and went, you guys are lame.
Yeah.
And now they're looking back and going, well, maybe that was kind of cool, that simpler life.
Yeah.
But as far as an MTV, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Wouldn't make sense. What do you think?
What's your favorite MTV moment?
Oh. What's your favorite MTV moment?
I think Thriller. I'll never forget watching Thriller. That was incredible.
And I was watching, and you probably were too, when it was played for the very first, because it was like this big lead up to it for weeks.
It was awesome.
Leading up to Michael Jackson's Thriller. That was a big one for me, Live Aid, just because watching it live, I remember glued to the TV watching that. And there were artists that I didn't care about to see, but when the ones that did come on, Live Aid was huge. Those were probably the two.
Yeah.
Thriller and Live Aid.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your favorite MTV memory? And it could be Jackass. If you're younger, it could be the rise of Ashton Kutcher on Punk'd.
Yeah.
I hope it's not. But it could be. Anyway, the rise and fall of MTV, it was great while it was around. We loved every minute of it until we didn't. And now it's gone, pretty much. So, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Tune in to not only MTV old episodes, but also our channel.
Yeah. If you get a chance, hop on YouTube and Google some old MTV stuff. Look at the VJs, watch what they do. It's pretty fun, and it's very dated, and it's entertaining because it's so dated. Yeah. Please like this episode. Please subscribe. Please
grab a mixed drink
and share with your friends, neighbors, relatives, aunts, uncles, dogs, cats.
Any other ideas for a snack? We would love to try it out.
We'll do it. We did it today. We'll do it again.
Wow.
We're not going to survive. But
yeah.
Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on
Mixtape Generation.